Muay Thai master. What's
Yeah.
that like?
I've had an amazing camp over in Montreal. I've been training with the Muay Thai master himself, and without his help, this wouldn't be possible. So,
What's his name?
Master Peter, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the help. You're the man.
Number one Muay Thai in the world.
Number one Muay Thai. Thank you, Master Peter.
And there's no pressure on you to say that. That's all from your
No,
own self.
that's from the heart. He blessed me to be here, so he's the best.
You've had a few minutes to digest the performance now. I see a big bag of ice, which we'll get to in a second. But how are you feeling about your performance?
I have to see it back. It was a bit of a scrappy performance. I think everything you expect when you have two upcoming prospects. We're both hungry. We're both there to win. It's never going to be easy. And I think it was an exciting fight. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah.
Is this one of those ones where, because of the level you guys are at and you guys are going to get better and better, that you're probably going to see each other again in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a great guy. He's got a great team around him. I'm sure he's going to be back. He's going to be, he's young. He's hungry. I told him to keep his head up and keep pushing on. I think he'll be back.
So what's the story with the bag of ice?
I don't know if you saw. I just had a fight.
Yeah.
And I punched a man in the head pretty hard, and now my hand's hurting.
But does it? Do you think it's broken, or is it just?
No, it's not broken. It just got a little boo-boo.
So with that in mind, do you have any idea sort of the timeline you'd like to get back in there, or you just want to get home and take a rest?
Yeah, I haven't been home in a while, but you know what? I want to fight. I want to fight again. I'm getting old. I'm 27 years old now, so I'd like to fight again. And this will probably take a couple weeks, few weeks maybe. I'd like to get back in August or something. It's summer,
Is the plan to still go home though and just take a bit of time to recuperate, or you want to stay out here and try and train a bit more?
I'm gonna go home and train and let my body recover. I'm gonna see my dog. I think he's on his deathbed. I haven't seen him in a long time. My dad keeps saying he's hanging on, so I think he's on the drip. He's just gone apparently. I've got till Monday morning, so hopefully he hangs on.
Jesus, that took a turn.
I think they stuffed him. Every time I video call, I think they're showing me a fake dog.
Cheers, mate.
So if you could break down the game plan, what was it going in there for him, and how closely did it play out to what you thought it would be?
First and second round, like pretty much as we expected. He's very aggressive. He's going to come forward. He's going to try and rip my head off. And he did everything we thought. And as I expected, we have faster feet, faster hands, and we caught him hard coming in. And I chased the finish twice in the first and second round. I think I paid for it a little bit in the third round. And I was expecting to be the fresher man in the later rounds, but I think he was a bit fresher where I'd, weirdly enough, nearly knocked him out twice. And I think he was a little bit fresher from me trying to finish, so yeah.
Is that the main thing that surprised you? Is that it just seemed like, his cardio and that he was maybe a little bit fresher, or is there anything else that surprised you out there?
Not really, no. Like, we studied him a lot. We watched his fights, and I've had a lot of experience myself. I'm 27 years old. This is my 18th pro fight, and I've had like 40, 30 other fights. So, I've had a lot of experience.
I think when people saw this one on paper and they saw both you guys coming in with impeccable records, they were expecting great things from you too. Do you still think that his star is still going to be rising? And do you think that with a win like this helps to propel you upwards as well?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, I don't think this sets him back. Like I said, we're two young, hungry prospects. We're both coming for the top. And, it's everything you want in a co-main event. You've got two ripped young lads, out to knock each other out. What more do you want?
When you look at the rest of 2021, what sort of goals are you setting for yourself within the division and maybe even just outside of fighting?
Yeah, I'd like to push forward. I don't know if this pushes me up because I think I was number 10. I don't know if this pushes me up the rankings or what. But yeah, definitely I want to go up. I don't want to stay at number 10. I don't want to fight backwards. I want to fight guys above me, I mean, the end of 21, I'd like to be sitting in the top 5.
And even outside of, not trying to call out guys, but looking at the top 10, who are some of those guys that you think would be perfect matchups for you, just in terms of your fight style and how they fight as well?
Yeah, someone like Korean Zombie, I was always a big fan of him. So, I mean, accidentally I've studied him my whole life, and he's flat-footed. He doesn't move great. He doesn't deal with someone moving around him, and, I move very well. But I know he just booked a fight, Dan Ige, so maybe the winner of that fight in the future, if they're above me in the rankings, that's something that would be cool.
How do you celebrate the win?
I'm going to Popeyes. I'm going over to Popeyes. I don't know if anyone's heard, but I'm going to Popeyes. I haven't had it yet.
You haven't had it?
I've never had it. Never had Popeyes.
So you're going for the chicken or you're going for the chicken sandwich?
I might go for the lot. I might have it all. I'm going to be a different man after this.
Different weight class?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you, man.
The kick looked great tonight. If you could go back and execute, what would you do to get the finish? Because it looked like it was right there for you.
We got the right guy today.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, what was it? What was the question?
that kick that you landed on,
Oh, yeah.
Super Sadiq, it looked like you had him. He was on roller skates.
Yeah, man. I mean, maybe if I didn't slip, it would have been a bit better. It was a bit slippery out on the canvas. I slipped a couple of times, like trying to move. A couple of times I kicked, I slipped. I don't know if it was my feet were sweaty or the canvas was slippery. I heard people saying before that it was a bit slippery. So, yeah, it was a bit slipperier than usual. Maybe if I kept my balance, I would have been able to finish off there. But, you know, he's tough and he hung in well. I thought I'd get the finish, but, you know, he did a good job staying in there.
Is there you were firing on all cylinders, anything that he did that gave you problems that you're like, okay, I'm going to check this tape and work on this going forward?
I don't know, I have to watch it back, to be honest. I felt pretty comfortable. Third round, I felt confident that I had 2 rounds in the bank, and I took my foot off the gas a little bit too much, and I should have pressed forward. But yeah, I think he was a bit desperate and come out. You know, he knew he needed to finish. So.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thanks, man.
Arnold Allen.
Thank you, man. Popeyes.
Get the fish sandwich at Popeyes.
Marvin, congratulations on a very dominant victory. I know you haven't had a chance to go back and review it and watch it, but I got to ask, like, immediately after, you looked like you were a little bit frustrated, even though it was such a dominant victory. So what are your initial thoughts on the fight?
I'm like this, you know, like I expect perfection. I expect me going out and breaking the guy, and sometimes I feel a little, like, I fall a little bit short of my expectation, but that short is still, like, a great performance, you know, like a very dominant performance. And, yeah, I mean, you know, going in, the game plan was, you know, we knew, like, he's really wild, and he either really, like, away or he either jumps in, and that gets him to smother himself a lot and close the distance and end up in the clinch. And I was like, man, like, you know, if it does do that, then there's not much of a point for me to get off the clinch and risk, like, short elbows, and because he throws those kind of things when I have such an advantage in the wrestling. So that would happen, really. You know, I was going out, I was feeling comfortable staying in there, and then he just throwing himself in, and it's just there. And that kind of, like, you know, it's like this. If you want to smother yourself and you throw your stuff at me, I'm gonna wrestle because I have good wrestling, you know. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm here to win, and I'm here to, you know, I'm the most versatile fighter. I can do everything. So it just, you give it to me, I'll take it.
Yeah. You know, obviously there were a lot of questions surrounding him after his last performance, but I mean, he was all business in there. I did hear him talking to you a little bit in there, but I mean, he was serious, he was aggressive, he was throwing. I mean, was he what you expected, or did he surprise you?
Yeah, no, I knew he was. You know what? Like, I was a little bit. I did not expect him to be that solid. I thought he would have faded out, and I knew I had him kind of hurt between second and third. He was staying on the stool a little bit, like even at the doctor, he kind of said, like, the doctor kept asking me, can you see me? Like, yeah, I can see, but he wasn't too sure of it. But then he kept going, and he kind of regathered himself. He definitely had more sense of urgency. He learned that from his last fight. He wasn't fucking around that much, and you know, I think going into the Brunson fight, he kind of thought, oh, I'm gonna gas him out by just, you know, he's gonna gas out, and then I'm gonna take my turn. This time he realized, you know, if I don't have sense of urgency, these guys are just gonna go 5 rounds taking me down. So I think going into this fight, he felt more urgency when he was getting taken down, and he was more active. But man, I'm a beast in the ground too, and I mean, on my corner there's a Hall of Famer jiu-jitsu practitioner. I have to, you know, I have to show up and do great just because he's in my corner almost, you know. Thank you, Hamula, for being here, and in general, you know, all the coaches here. So yeah, I kind of feel like I could have, I wanted to show more of my striking, but at the end of the day, there's the thing about me. I'm versatile, and I can do it all. So you give it to me, I'll take it.
Yeah. I know you're such a perfectionist and you're hard on yourself, but do you take more satisfaction that, I mean, that was a guy that showed up serious, clearly. You know what I mean? Like you said, there was no playing around in there, and you dominated him. Does that make you feel a little more satisfaction?
Yeah, I want to go back and watch the fights. I want to see how he played out and why things went some kind of way more than others. But yeah, man, I mean, for sure. I mean, he was game today. He was more game. He wasn't fucking around. There wasn't much talking. I knew everybody. I said it before. Like, oh, are you worried about him talking? I said there won't be much talking in our fight. And he just started talking on the fifth, and that's when I realized he's talking because he knows he's losing. And so, whenever somebody approaches the fight some kind of way, and then there is a switch in him, something's wrong for the guy. You realize something's going wrong for the guy. So, yeah, he was way more game than his last fight, and it's good. At the end of the day, 50-44, it's as dominant as he can be.
Yeah. Last thing for me, what's going to be the talk is who deserves, the title shot next and all that. I mean, there's a big middleweight fight next week. Costa's out there still wanting a rematch. I'm sure Till will say something when he's healthy. But I guess while you've got the chance, make the case. Why is it you that deserves to be the next in line for the title?
5-win streak, accepting anybody at any time, always showing up, always making weight, never complaining about nothing, and I just show up and I just beat these guys very dominantly. Like I leave no doubt. The last fight that I had with Adesanya was the closest fight that he's ever had, and on my eyes, he still won it. And that fight has to be made again. I don't think Robert Whittaker is that hungry. And next week, like I said, I want Dana to give me a ticket and for me to sit next to him to watch the fight. And that fight will say a lot. But regardless, I think I'm next in line and I deserve it. I was supposed to fight Darren Till, but Darren Till didn't show up. Now he's out. I'm the most hungry by any mean, and I'm next, man. I'm next. Nobody has the winning streak that I have. All my opponents have been solid, and I'm next.
Marvin, when would you like to fight Israel?
October.
Is there any preference?
Or September, this fall, Yeah.
Is that with the world opening up and with crowds and stuff like that, is there any place in particular you'd like to fight him? Or
Man, Italy, bro. If that could ever happen in Italy, that'd be a dream come true. Absolutely insane. The first ever Italian to bring the UFC to Italy, fighting for the title. That's out of. It's insane if that could come to fruition.
With Kevin tonight, obviously your grappling ability was markedly better than his, but were you surprised that on the commentary they were saying he was missing some of the basics? He wasn't trying to separate the hands and stuff like that. Were you surprised, or was that your own strength?
No, because I knew, he's not... he thinks strikes more than technique in there. He thinks to just create openings to strike, to cut you, to get you clean with shots. He doesn't... he had way more sense of urgency, but, if you don't know things, you cannot just learn it overnight. His game is not really, scrambling to get back up, not too much. He's just, he stays there looking for big shots. He tried to flat you out, so maybe you posture up and then boom, he catch you with some big, So now I was kind of expecting that. Like I said, he came more game than what I thought, but I'm game all the fucking time, so no problem.
Do you think because he fights so frequently, do you think it would actually be better for him to stop and take some time and try and learn before just taking fights?
I don't know, bro. He needs to know that. But, yeah, 2 losses, he has to address that and make some adjustments if I was him. But he's a wild guy, so I don't know.
Last thing for me, you said you want to sit next to Dana to watch the fight again. What exactly are you hoping to see, or are you trying to do with sitting next to Dana?
That fight, I want to tell him I'm next in line first, and that's a very important fight in the middle of a division. And so, I want to say, Dana, look, I'm here. I'm next, and obviously it's gonna be good. And plus, Kelvin is my teammate. I want to see that too.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, guys.